Senator John Kennedy of Massachusetts, Democrat, throws his hat in the presidential ring at a Washington press conference.
I am today announcing my candidacy for the presidency of the United States.
When Senator John F. Kennedy ran for president in 1960, he wasn't the obvious candidate.
As many people did, thought that Jack Kennedy was too young and too inexperienced. And we should point out there had not been a Catholic at the top of a major party ticket for president since 1928, and Al Smith, who had been defeated in a landslide by Herbert Hoover in 1928.
Even after winning the nomination in Los Angeles,
I'm asking each of you to be pioneers towards that new frontier.
Kennedy would face Richard Nixon in one of the closest elections in U.S. history.
If we think about how close this was, we have to ask, well, what was the difference? What were the reasons for Kennedy's victory?
Inside the Democratic Party, JFK would face difficult choices on race and civil rights.
Both Vice President Nixon and Senator Kennedy, as politicians, felt they had to navigate this issue so that they could still win southern states, even though the South had an apartheid regime. That was the awful dilemma that both candidates faced, and American presidential candidates to that point all engaged in a Faustian bargain with white segregationists to become president.
We'll look at how some of those racist roadblocks linger on today.
So in the past couple elections, presidential elections at least, there have been stories of 2, 3, 4 hour voting lines, which are themselves a form of voter disenfranchisement.
And how they recall a different kind of prejudice 60 years ago.
People were trying to rule out Obama because of the color of his skin, while they had ruled out JFK because of his faith.
When a satellite called Sputnik soared into space, voters would also be consumed by the existential threat of nuclear war from the Soviet Union.
Sputnik shatters certain American certainties and a sense of security.
Echoes of which can still be heard today.
And we might now, in 2020, be in the worst period of U.S.-Russian relations since the height of the Cold War in the 1960s.
The election would be the first time presidential candidates would debate live on television.
John F. Kennedy's reputation among many elites was of a lightweight. It made sense for Richard Nixon to think he would just cream John F. Kennedy in a debate.
The question really is, which candidate and which party will meet the problem the United States is going to face in the 60s?
So I would say that in all of these proposals Senator Kennedy has made, they will result in one of two things. Either he has to raise taxes or he has to unbalance the budget.
The 1960 campaign would have long-lasting effects on future elections.
His use of television, the way he used the primaries, the way he confronted the elephant in the room about his faith, the way he addressed the American people.
As the 2020 election heats up,
an emboldened left will launch a full-scale assault on American life.
We all know the stakes couldn't be higher. That's why it's no time for the divisive politics we're hearing more about today.
We'll reflect on how 60 years later, Kennedy and Nixon still influence campaigns today.
I don't know of anyone who created a new sense about politics and a new sense of energy and enthusiasm about it and a sense of possibility as John F. Kennedy. I mean, literally everybody of my generation looked at him as a kind of inspiration about what could be.
This is 60/20.